there, and welcome to another edition of the 1% Better podcast with your host, Rob O'Donoghue.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of the 1% Better podcast. We're well into season 2 now, and on this week's episode I am delighted to introduce you to Paula Toots, or Paz as she's more formatively known. Welcome to the show, Paz.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
Yeah, no, I'm delighted to have you on the show. It was I think we connected through Twitter, where I connect with a lot of potential guests, and what I was taken aback by looking at some of your tweets and posts, there's a very much a positive air or a positive theme with everything you tweet about. There's a lot of gratitude and positivity. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah. Well, just back to my history, and I was not always like that.
Okay.
But my life changed so much 10 years ago when I needed to leave my original career to have a child.
Right.
And I didn't know I was pregnant till when I was 3 months pregnant. And there I found out they were twins, was
Wow.
a risk pregnancy. So I needed to be in bed all the time. And a month later, I lost one of the twins, turning my pregnancy more risky. So I could not leave bed at all. And a month and a half later, I gave birth to my boy. So my boy born in under 28 weeks.
Wow.
And he was in intensive care for so long. And again, I could not go back to work. And there were so many problems, health problems on him and me. And a year later, we found out that he was disabled. He was diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and OCD.
Okay.
So there my life changed completely, and I didn't find any other path than be positive myself.
Sure. Yeah, we definitely talk maybe about that. I suppose you must have been facing a lot of challenges and struggles around that time.
Yes.
That would have pushed people into a dark place. What were the triggers or what approaches did you take on to become more positive or to look more maybe on the bright side of things there?
You don't have a choice really, because I was raised to be a professional. I was never raised to be a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And my pregnancy was a surprise. And once he born, instead to I be depressed and be sad, I never wanted this path. To me, I'm the workaholic type, and without work I'm mad. I'd be one day without work, you'll be a mad girl. But there, I didn't see a choice, really. I said, or I will be positive that I can give a better life to this child that didn't ask to born. Or it's no choice there. You need to grab something and carry on. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. No, very, very good. And I guess then as you started to become more positive and focus on the good things that, you had a son. It's a boy, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a boy, yes.
Did it start getting easier then? Did you, by continually being positive, become more positive?
It was a very long process. When he born, the doctors explained to me that he could take, because he was very, very premature. He born weighing a kilo only, like 2 bags of sugar. The doctor said that it could take around 7+ years to he become a normal boy.
Right.
What's normal is there's no parameter really to qualify what's normal. And once he was diagnosed, I said, no, I don't accept today. I don't accept today. No, that I don't accept his diagnosis. Otherwise, I love my son more than anything in this world. If I need to live my life to he be well. But was a long fight, changing things. You start to read, you start to study deeply. Was the steroids that they gave me that caused that? Then you go to another doctor. The doctor said to me that was because I was an old mother. Of course, I prosecuted the doctor because I wasn't that old when I was pregnant. I was 33. And you don't have where you hold yourself to be positive and to try to change things. But try to change the food, you try to change, you put him on exercise, and you try anything you can to be sure that this child can be happy. Of course, you're not there looking for a cure, because we know for a fact that autism doesn't have a cure. Mm-hmm. But now he just turned 8 last Friday, and he's a completely different child. His vocabulary is richer than mine. And obviously, I'm a foreigner. English is not my mother tongue. Now he corrects my English. I am degraded in computer science. And now he's 8 years old and he can code better than I can.
Wow.
And never nobody teach him. Everything that he does is watch YouTube videos and listen podcasts. He can, I'm not sure he can hack my computer, but he can do so much.
Wow.
Like he make animations like that I don't even dream that exist.
Okay.
So he's a very special boy, and he's much different. Of course, now I would say that if somebody looked, obviously autism is an invisible illness or condition, but he's a completely different boy now, but was very, very hard work. He's endless. It's 24/7, and because of the ADHD as well.
Right.
He sleep 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day.
Okay. So it's full on, but obviously he's given you a lot of joy and happiness as well, though, right?
Oh yes, he's the most amazing kid I ever met in my life, and it's not because he's my son. He's very, very special, but he's very. I cannot just say the word normal because I don't believe in the word normal. I think nobody's normal.
Sure.
But he's much closer to what the society expects as a normal child now. Of course, he has his tantrums here and then, but he's much more what the society would accept as a normal boy.
Okay. Well, that's great. Look, it sounds like, you're doing a great job with him as well, and it's great to hear a lot of that. I'll just pick up on the point you said, though, that was 7 years ago and your life effectively changed then. Prior to that, maybe looking back in your early career, I know you said you grew up in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. You have a career as a journalist, a producer, an author, I guess.
Yes.
I'd love to maybe, if you want to step back a little bit.
Yes. I was accepted to the Federal University when I was 16 years old. This was December. Then January, I turned 17. So I was very young. I didn't know really what I wanted to do. So that I always loved so much how technology, computers, this sort of things. Mm-hmm. So I ended up in computer science career university. When I finished that, I used to work on the exchange market. And in Brazil, it is called Bovespa.
Okay.
And from that, I had an opportunity to start to work for a TV station. And I started there and I ended up studying as well. So I ended up in journalism full time. And parallel there, I was in law university as well. So I love study. And I think that if he exists a career as a professional student, I probably would pick that.
Yeah, I probably would as well, to be honest. It's a lifelong learning passion. What did you want to be when you were growing up? What was your dream, or did you have an idea of what you'd like to have become?
Yes, I wanted to be a medical doctor.
Oh.
Nothing.
You didn't go down that route.
Yes, unfortunately, on the years that I was trying the universities to be accepted in one of them, on my city were something like, if I'm not wrong, something like 16 positions only.
Right.
And I was a minor, so my parents said, "No way, we're sending you out of the city." And so I wasn't accepted if I'm not wrong, you needed to have like the high score in biology and chemistry. And my high scores always were like history, geography, and Portuguese. Like here to you guys are English, there to us is Portuguese. And I didn't have the score enough to go to medical school. So I ended up going to computer science.
Very good. So when you said you started working at a TV station in Brazil, was it TV and radio? Was it a mix of...
It's a group, actually. It's a group that own TV. They own a few channels, actually. Now, probably on the time that I was there, they had 4 channels. That was Rede Bandeirantes de Televisão. They had Channel 21, Channel Art, and number 5, Band News. That was one channel just for news, and Band Sports. That was one channel just for sports. And during my long years there, I probably passed by every single department that you can imagine. The most of my time there I spent on sports, but I also passed by the editorials as a journalist. I passed as well I started there on department called cinema. Cinema basically is a department that look after the movies, the schedule, and choosing the movies that are going to the TV. If you have the censorship, if you can put in certain time of the day, for example, to 10 o'clock, you can not to have nude. To 12 o'clock, you cannot to have swearing.
Sure.
So I used to look after that part.
Right.
But I've been passing for every single department that you can imagine. They have now they have over 20 channels. On my time, they had only 4 radio stations. Now they have over 20 as well, and they have the printed news as well inside the group and the other companies related to.
Okay. What did you start? I suppose did you start finding a passion for the areas you were working in when you got into that work? Because as you said, you did a technology degree and you were doing law, but you were working in a kind of a TV radio organization. It was probably even a little bit different to what you were studying for.
No, because after I was studying communication as well. So
okay.
Communication there, if you don't have a license, I don't know if you now change the rules because it's almost 20 years I'm out of the country. But on the time you could not work for the TV if you did not have a communication degree.
Okay.
Or studying it.
Right. So you had that under your belt, and did you find as you were working in that world that it was something you were very passionate about? Did you grow to really enjoy that, or was there other things that you were kind of interested in doing?
I love the how busy it can be, and like as I mentioned, I'm very workaholic. I like to be busy. I can work 7 days a week, I don't mind because I like to have my head full. So to me, it was a pleasure. When I started to work with sports, then to me was not a work anymore, was entertainment because sure. I'm crazy about sports, in particular football.
Yeah, that's cool. I read on your bio that you were writing about English football around the Premier League.
Yes, now I don't write anymore, but I've been writing for several blogs in Brazil, for newspapers in Brazil as well.
Okay.
But now I don't write anymore.
Okay.
I don't find the time.
Yeah, time is tough. And during those years, is there a few things that stand out that you learned that was very, impactful to your career, I suppose, or lessons that you've taken away from your time working in the stations in Brazil there?
Yes, you working for communication group, you learn so much. The very first thing is how to work in a team that I think is very difficult. Like everybody there come from different backgrounds and different knowledge. So you always will find a massive experience on that. And working in different departments, of course, you'll be learning so much about so many different things. An example, I didn't understand nothing about politics till I started to work in editorial. Once you start to work in a new center on the politics group, you need to research so much, to learn so much about that. So now I can say I know lots about Brazilian politics because I was there day and night. The same about sports, and sports is a passion, so I knew a little bit about. When I was producing international festivals or shows, a bunch of concerts, like I did Red Hot Chilli Peppers, for example, The Calling, and you learn so much about accountants because as an executive producer, basically you're an accountant.
Right. You're managing the budget really tightly, is it?
So you learn a little bit of everything, really.
Okay. And I suppose that exposed you to different parts of media if you're dealing with, like, as you said, you're executive producer for the Red Hot Chilli Peppers concert.
Yes, in Rio.
So that was for the station. So I suppose talk to me about what was involved in that, apart from managing the accounts heavily.
Yeah, basically what you do as executive producer, the first part is you plan everything. The boss, my director would come to me and say, listen, you have a show for the 1st of December, for example.
Right.
So you need to be sure that you have the best deal with the stadium to make the show. You need to plan everything, how will be from the security that will be in a door to the drinks for the artists as well. So it's very complex, take long months, but it's so compensating when you see there the show is happening.
Right. It sounds like a project kind of management type role. I don't know if you've been exposed to proper project management. That's something I would have done in my background. But if it's heavily about planning every single task or activity that would go on around the time of the event, it seems like there'd be a lot of similarities there.
I think is very, very similar. And it's like on the project management, I'm not sure, but for example, you need to go and search from the machines to the security, from the new personnel that you need there to be bringing the towels. That every artist will have a different request. So for example, I have before artists that said, I want 50 black towels on my VIP area. And you need to be sure that you have there somebody bringing on the tray, on the silver tray, the 50 towels to the artist.
Right.
Like he requested.
That's it sounds like a very specific kind of, I think they call that, that kind of prima donna type stuff, but I suppose you have to do what you're asked to do in those situations. When you was moved from the radio station to TV station, you moved to the UK? When did that happen?
No,
you didn't move to the UK.
On the time I moved to Australia.
You moved to Australia?
Yes, to be part of a studies group, media. And after that, I back to Brazil as a request from my previous boss to build a new news channel.
Right.
So I back to Brazil to make this news channel, and I started to be tired, like to the routine of the TV doesn't have routine, but I wanted new things. I wanted different things because this life is so short, and you don't know if the day that you die, if you're going to a heaven, if you're going to the hell, if exists something after here. So I think everything that you wanted to do, you need to do here and now.
Right.
So I was very tired of everything. And I said, do you know what? I wanted to make a course of a script, like movie script.
Okay.
And I took my things. I booked myself for a London course. And I moved to London. It was very complicated. I was married at the time, and obviously I put so much pressure on the marriage as well.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was here, my ex-husband and I decided that we should not be together anymore because I was traveling so much. He was traveling so much as well.
Right.
And my course is supposed to be 8 months here in London and 6 months in New York. And after that, I went back to Brazil to see what I was going to do.
Right.
I have done my months here, and on the end of the course, I met somebody, and I canceled my New York continuation of my course.
Okay.
So at that point, I needed to find a job, and I was very, very lucky to one of my former colleagues was working for human rights.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited me to go to Italy and be part of a mission. So I moved to Italy, went to Italy to see how was this new job. And I was chosen to be the group of information in East Europe post-war in Yugoslavia. Former Yugoslavia. So I started working in Serbia, and I finished my mission in Kosovo.
Okay. So what was your role in the mission? What did you actually focus on?
We basically research about human rights, the post-war human rights, and how the community are treated from the government. And at the point when I was there was a sort of American protectorate. So America was looking after. They left the last mission in 2000. I think it was 2007 that Kosovo was finally see as a country. So it was when America took back all the troops. But there was Americans everywhere, like big cast. And I used to study and research out the human rights on that areas.
Okay, so that was even another angle, I suppose, another element of your developing your career and things that you had a passion about? I suppose that was not something you maybe had planned to do?
No, I never planned it. It was like, do you know that thing, that one opportunity that jumped on your window and you just grab and said, I'm doing and I will give the best. I don't have experience on human rights.
Sure.
But I put together the experience that I have from law uni and the experience that I have as a journalist. I put it all together and I said, I will do that with the best of my ability.
Very good. And what were the big learnings that you took from it?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I saw a reality that I never saw before to start with. It was very compensating in one side, like very as a professional, because we could go deeply in research. Mm-hmm. But in another hand was probably the saddest thing that I saw in my whole life. Imagine our generation, like I imagine we are more or less the same age. So people like me and you that saw the whole war happening on their curb. And the most of you then end up with mental health issues. So our generation, almost for a large number of our generation there, suffer now badly with health issues.
Right. That's the kind of post-traumatic stress and that they get from being part of all of that. That's it's certainly something, I suppose, as we would watch it on TV rather than be part of it, you never get really appreciation for. So do you think as your journey continued, when was this Paz? What time was it? 2000, late 2000s was it, or?
This was 2005, 2006 more or less.
Okay. So after that then, once that mission was over, what was the next step and where did you decide to go? Was it something that came up that brought you down a different route after that?
Actually, it was before 2006 because when I back to London, I went out to looking for a new job.
Right.
And it was a natural next step to me because if I wanted to stay with the human rights, the next mission was on the Arabia. I'm not sure each part of the Arabias was, but was something that at the time was in war. And I said, I had enough of war. I don't want anymore to stay that vulnerable.
Okay.
And I back to London and I started to looking for a new job. And I went to a producer, and her name was Marie, and I said, I need a new job, or I'm looking for a job, that history that you know. And the first question that she asked me, she said, I have an amazing project, but I need somebody who can create a real person that's not a real person in a new platform called Facebook. Do you know what Facebook is? And I was looking to her. I said, I heard about that, but I'm not sure what's there. So that's why I know that was early than there.
Right.
And it was my very first experience working on social media. And there my role basically, she had her clients with the marketing campaigns that she was leading. And my job basically was create one account on Facebook, pretending that I was one person, like one potential consumer.
Okay.
So there was the page, and I need to talk and to about the product that she was working with. So, for example, if she is working with a new trainers from trademark blah blah blah. So, look, people, I bought a new trainers from blah blah blah. It was quite interesting job. I love it.
Okay, so you were effectively setting up account on Facebook to talk about other products and to try and build a marketing buzz around them? Yes,
there I used to be an image editor as well. So I used to edit images for commercials and short videos, but my main role was on their social media platform. It was quite interesting. On the time, you didn't have that paid post that we have now.
Yeah.
Sponsored posts, or you didn't have specific business accounts like we have today as well, pages like we have today. I think it was a very start of the social media, and in particular who was trying to put your products and your services there, and they didn't have these choices, these commercial choices that we have today.
Right. It was very early days in the social media world, but I suppose a good time to get involved in it and really start to understand how it worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
There I started to make research that I made till now. I still do that. Like what's the best time? What, for example, here in the UK, what's the time in the UK that the people open more the Facebook? If you have a target customer, so for example, you're trying to target 19 to 35 years old people, females. So I research what times people open the Facebook, how long they are there, and etc. etc. etc.
Okay, so you're developing the marketing strategies for that.
Yes.
It probably wasn't long after that then the whole Twitter world became something that you were involved in, was it? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I messaged. I'll just start for two reasons. I left TG's producer that I used to work with. Like, do you know when you're so tired of that career, you said, no, I need you again to try something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I joined a homeopathy school and I joined a college. On the college, I was studying beautician.
Right.
My family owns salons in back home. So I said, well, maybe I'll open myself a salon here as well. So I was studying to be a beautician in a college and I was in a homeopathy London school. It's when I finished and I degraded as well. But when I finished out the course, then my son born. So I needed to give a break to absolutely everything, the media part, the beauty part, about everything.
Right. So once your son was born, that was in about 2010 or 11 or so?
2010.
Yeah, and I think, again, reading on your bio, around that, just shortly after that time, was where you started to look at maybe writing novels and books?
Yes, I co-wrote a few books back home. And back home, I used to lead some marketing groups as well. What gave me the followers later. But when my son born and I needed to give full attention, what I tried to do was I was there almost full time with my son. And every time that my son was sleeping or was there playing, I was trying to, I'm the type of person that need to have my brain occupied full time. So I was there.
Sure.
Then I make myself an account on Twitter. I make myself an account in everything that you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And I was there all the time talking about children, talking about everything, like how is he moved to the UK. I teach the way, how the best way, how to open a cake. I think like I learned something today. The next day I was there in a platforms talking about.
Right.
And there I started to have my followers. And then I started to I back to my yoga. I on yoga about 20 years. And I finished my course for meditation and to be able to guide meditations as well. And I think there was the point that I become super positive and wrote the books that are available in English as well.
Yeah, I think, do you, like, meditation is something I talk about pretty much on every episode. You said that's something that you got into. Was that something you had done in the past, or was it just something that you fell into a few years ago?
Like meditation is the main part of yoga, I would say, a yogi life.
Yes.
And yoga is part of my life since I was born. My mother is a yoga since I remember myself as a person. And I started like I was a very, very little girl. And I remember that I used to hate the start because I said, this is so quiet to me. I'm agitated. I'm a bubble person. I don't like to be that quiet. And like they forced me once, they forced me twice, on the third, on the fourth. I think on the fifth session, nobody needed to force me anymore. I said, I love that. I can strut everything. I can touch my feet on the head.
Yeah, once you get into it, I think it's so beneficial. But as you said all along, you have a very busy mind and you like to keep very active and occupied. It's more difficult, I think, when you have that to really get settled into meditation and mindfulness.
But I think as you're getting old, like I'm 40 years old now, you learn how to administrate that, how to manage that, to teach your body, your mind. So what's the time to be super agitated, super bubble, super and the time that you need to be super cool, super calm down, super relaxed, like when I'm going to sleep. I teach myself how do not think. So it's a time that my brain's completely empty and I can go to sleep straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you know, absolutely. I know what you mean. I find it hard sometimes to do it, and yeah, we're definitely we're the same age, but I think you might have had a better. You might be a bit better at it than I am at the moment. In the last few years, then, Paula, you've been developing books around fitness as well, and is that kind of what you do? What does, I suppose, a typical day look like now for you?
My typical day. Well, I usually wake up very early, like 5:30. Sometimes I give to myself to 7 o'clock in a bed, but very rarely. And I would wake up, have a breakfast, make sure that my son's up, and change it to go to school. And usually I book all my customers, my clients, the visits that I need to go to, the clients that I need to see via online, or that I need to answer the questionnaires or talk with them. I try to book them always on the hours that my son is in a school. So let's say between the hours that he's in a school, I will assist all my clients. And I try always to fit after the 1 hour workout every single day without a fail. So I will take 1 hour every day to go to the gym, and this is important to me to keep fit. I can't just, it's like my therapy.
Sure.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually a workout of the city that I have a few customers that's out of the city. So it's the 2 days that I try to book everybody together. So I jump in a car and I drive around as much as I can, solve the problems of everybody, and back on time, at least to have the dinner with my family. And as much as I can as well, if I can, I would be cooking 3 times a day. Days that I can't, I cook one, but I try as much as I can be sure that I'm cooking to them and they eating fresh. And like, we are not vegans, we are not organic, nothing, but I try to cook to them as fresh as I can to be sure that they are healthier.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's very important to get the right diet in there. So just in the area of sleep, you mentioned sleep was very important, and you get up quite early. Does that mean you get to bed quite early? Is there a certain number of hours a night you try to get sleep all the time?
Yes, I try to sleep 5 hours a day. That's more or less what I can manage to sleep. As I said, my boy usually sleeps 4 hours. So, for example, if I try to go to bed at 12, usually 5, I'm up. But I think that 5 hours that I give myself is more because my son doesn't sleep much and my husband doesn't sleep much as well. So I end up the punished one.
You get punished for that. Just, you mentioned on Twitter, I'm certainly interested, and a lot of the listeners might be interested in how people use Twitter to help them grow their business and help them get new clients. Over the course of the years, I suppose, how have you been able to build such a following? What your approach is to doing that? I know you said you engage with a lot of people based on your everyday life of things that come up. Can you talk me through how it's grown and things you've used to develop it and grow it?
Yes, absolutely. First, I will tell the whole history in part.
Sure.
I start with Facebook, and Facebook is social media in general is a funny thing, because I will give an example. In Brazil, Twitter doesn't work. You don't have, people doesn't open the tweet. They make an account today and they never more you come to the account. They forget that it exists.
Right.
So Facebook was the biggest platform there.
Okay.
Opposite than now, here, the biggest platform was Twitter, and Facebook was very low on the research. But Twitter at the moment is in decadence, and Instagram at the moment is the platform. So back into the original question, how it started. Very big groups in Facebook, and I started to push the people to Twitter. This doesn't mean that people carry on talking with me on Twitter at the moment that I said, come on, let's go to Twitter. I will follow you. So that started there back years ago. I will follow you, and I carry on talking with people. I'm not a Facebook fan. I never was.
Right. I
was there because probably it was the only platform that we had available at the time.
Okay.
So Instagram started very strongly, and how I can use the word in English. I'm a fighter. Like if I buy a cake from you, I ask a chocolate cake, if a white marzipan on the top, and you send it wrong, I will tell politely to you, listen, Rob, you send me a wrong cake. Can we sort? But you know better than me, when you buy from bigger companies, you buy local, smaller companies, they will sort straight away because they are there trying to survive.
Sure.
But the big companies don't give you an attention to what you're saying, don't want to sort. So I started to fight for myself and for people as well.
Right.
And this, I think, was my first accelerator, if I can use this word. I was, for example, you say to me, listen, Paula, I bought a cup and the cup become broken and nobody want to sort it. Live with me. I pass one day fighting for you there. And then another person come and this started to call attention. Obviously, I started to push that on my favor and start to use that to convert in business.
Okay.
So this I convert to bring I needed to, I don't know if you follow my site, I needed to take care of health because I don't have any appointment available to the end of the year.
Wow. Yeah, I was on your site and I know it's just pretty much the landing page and links to the social.
Yes, I needed to take care of all the options and services because I don't have availability anymore. And like I'm a one person.
Okay, wow. So effectively what you were saying, just to kind of restate it, if a consumer was having an issue with a product that they bought and that they weren't getting any response around it, they would approach you and you would tweet or post about that. Is that how
Yes, and I would fight with the companies as well. For example, I would say to you, give me here the number of your order. I will fight for you. And I used to fight. And I didn't qualify this as a service or nothing like that. Otherwise, I would was like me being human being and helping my people. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's fast and interesting. So, and that kind of started off a few years ago, did it? And you just started to get more and more people coming to you with those sort of issues.
Do you know, I have people that send me messages, send me emails, and like, that's one of the reasons that I don't read DMs, because I have like every day I wake up with over 100 DMs. Do you remember me? You helping me to have my money back. Can you help me again?
Yeah. No, I can imagine it could be crazy with that amount of followers. Yeah.
So at that point, I was opening a company and I was opening myself services on the time it was just a coaching, like a lifestyle coaching.
Sure.
So I offer at the time I was offering like small services to help you how to move to England, how to buy clothes in England. Everything related to change your lifestyle, I would be there for you. But with time and with requests, I realized that I could have more success doing that at business level.
Yes. Of
course, today, if you have somebody asking me, can you do the lifestyle coaching? Of course I can. And as soon as I have appointments available, I'm more than happy to help any person. And even so many times happen, I cannot to pay pass. Can you help me still? I said, yes, I can. I just need to fit you in between, but still I can help.
That's fair. Yeah. It's a good deed to be doing that in some scenarios when people can't pay. It's you obviously have to make a living as well, so it's a noble deed.
In particular, when mothers that have a very similar history as mine, that have an autistic kid, for fun. I don't know if in Ireland you have the same problem as here. That school is only from 9 to 3, so it's almost impossible to a mother to go and find a full-time work.
Of course.
How will you work full-time? In particular, if you're a single mother, who will you leave your kid? Like, I know, I'm by myself in this country. Like, I have my husband, he's Irish English, so it's just me and him, you know what I mean? His family's not here, my family's not here.
Sure.
We just have each other.
Yeah.
So it's still very difficult, because like back home, if I was back home, I would say, Mom, I need to work full-time. You need to stay with my boy. You're retired, I need to bring money home, so you stay with my boy. Yeah. It's how it works, at least in my culture.
Yeah, it's fair. You'd have the support network there if you had more family around, and it makes it very difficult without that. Absolutely. No, I get it. Paz, I guess, go on.
Just to finish what I was saying, is like, if a mother like me say, I don't know how I can set my life. I had a child, and on the top of that, it's not enough that the school doesn't take my child have a condition. He's autistic. He's ADHD. I be sure I don't sleep, but I'll be sure I will find time to help you. So till now, in this almost 10 years, 8 years or so that I'm doing that, I probably help mothers in the same condition as me. The most of them opening e-commerce is working from home and selling services as well. At least 100, not just in London, not just in England, but all around. And I'm proud to be helping every person I can. And still now, if somebody is listening and needs my help, please contact me. I will be sure that I will find a time to help you.
No, that's brilliant, Paz. Like, it's certainly a great deed and a great work you're doing to help others, and that certainly won't won't go unrewarded, I would hope, for you. I guess you probably get a lot of satisfaction out of doing it as well.
So much. I have two pleasures in life. One is when I make a project I built for you, a business plan, for example, and you follow everything and you reach the goal that we wrote together. It's not a smile on my face, it's a smile on my soul. Like, I feel a better human being. Like, it doesn't matter 1% better, like you say. Like, I feel so much better as a human being. It's like I won a trophy.
Yeah.
And the other big pleasure I have in life is cook. And I don't eat, just waiting the person put the spoon on the mouth to see what's tasting it.
Sorry, say that again.
When I'm the second pleasure, I said the massive pleasure when I'm making the coating, when I'm serving with the coating, and the person achieves something that gives me a smile on the soul. And the same feeling I have when I'm there making my second passion, that's to cook, to bake.
Okay.
So when the person, I'm there, I don't eat. I just waiting the person put the spoon on the mouth so I can see the face if it's good or not.
Very good. So through coaching and through cooking, you get a lot of satisfaction out of it. Well, both of those things are very positive activities to be doing and helping others. Yeah, like certainly from my side, I totally agree on the coaching side. The cooking side, I think if I was putting some food in people's mouths, I'm not sure if that would make them satisfied or happy. It might be an area I need to work on more myself in the future. So what is the future for Paz then? Where do you go from here? What's next for you? Have you goals and ambitions?
Yes, I do. Well, first of all, even I have a British child, I have a British husband, that with the Brexit, we don't know what will happen.
Okay. So is that a big worry?
Yes, I'm worried. Even you have a company, if we are at the moment, if I listen lots of LBC, I don't know if you have LBC in Ireland. Is a radio.
Okay.
And every morning I put on, and the most of the time the subject is immigration and Brexit and sort of subjects. And you listen histories, like people, I was listening, yesterday there was a Spanish man who lives here for 40 years. He asked the resident, he has English wife, he has British kids, he has British grandkids, he has a massive company that he has a profit of 10 million a year.
Right.
And he asked for his residence, and his residence was denied.
Wow.
Yes. We have a friend, he's much older than us. His kids are our age. He's, I don't know if he's Dutch or he's Anglo, but no English.
Right.
I think he's Dutch. He's married to an English, I think she's a Scottish lady. But all the kids born here in England, all the grandkids born here in England, and he asked for residence, was denied. So I started to think like these people are much bigger, they have much bigger profiles than mine.
Right.
And if they are having the residences denied, how will be the day that I need to ask for mine? Because we know for a fact, even I'm Italian, I live in this country as in a condition of Italian citizen. When this situation started to proceed, I will need to ask my residence as well, and what this will lead. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. You have 60 days to leave the country, and we putting all of this on the paper as well. Like my husband said, if you want, we leave the country.
Yeah, but
it's not my intention. It's not what I want. I live here for 17 years, like in between going and back.
Sure.
Let's say that my history with my relationship with this island is of 17 years.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, where is your home? Here is my home. I don't know nothing. I don't know where else is my home because I'm here so long.
Yeah. No, like I'm sure, there's a lot of Irish people there and a lot of other nationalities across England that would be wondering, but is it even on the cards? Is it being discussed that there's people that can't get residency would have to leave? Is, even for those examples you've said, they are making profits in business, but if they're illegal, does that mean they have to leave the country? Is that a concern?
Yeah, it is a concern. Like, of course, we work, we pay taxes, we have profit, but still, they can say to me, listen, Paz, very pleased to meet you. Thank you very much for all the tax you've been paying to this country for these long years, but goodbye, see you later. We don't know. Nobody knows what the Brexit will lead us. So at the moment, I'm working with my husband a few options like plan Bs.
Sure.
Because we don't of course, if I stay here, I will probably carry on what I'm doing. I also work with him. I help him with his companies, and but we don't know what this can lead us. So I have plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E going to paper, and we every day talking about that, because if they say you need to go, and I don't like to break the law. So
sure.
if they don't say to me you can stay here legally, I'm leaving the country. I don't want it to be what I'm not wanted. And at the moment here in London, not. But for example, when I come up to Manchester, or when I'm coming to work, when I'm in Chesterfield, I was in a workshop a few weeks ago. I was one of the speakers in Chesterfield, and I was the only no English. And people look to you feel not wanted.
Right. Yeah, they did say, I think the Brexit results or the voting around that time was heavily outside of London, was heavily voting for leaving the EU, and London was more about staying in there. So there seems to be that divide for sure.
I think the Brexit, the problem is much deeply than the majority of the population can understand. The problem is the period where the Brexit was voted was exactly on the war restart. The bombs were happening, and they were not voting against the terrorists. They were voting against the European. And it looks like that the majority of the English people doesn't understand the difference.
Yeah.
With all respect for English people, I'm very thankful, very grateful for these people, for the country. But sometimes I feel that there was not information enough.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's certainly a lot of unknowns and uncertainty.
Yeah, and nobody knows. I know lots of people that vote to the Brexit, and they now are suffering already the consequences.
Yeah, it's difficult. And honestly, maybe another day we could talk probably longer about that. I'm hoping it'll all work out though, Paz, for you, and you don't have to maybe go to plan B or C or D. And I guess
I hope to.
And going back to your constant everyday positivity, keep that going and keep that in your view. I think one of the other interesting things about today actually is it's called International Day of Happiness. So it's probably a fitting day for us to chat, given the gratitude and the positivity stuff that you put out there. Just before we wrap up, Paz, just a couple of other questions I suppose that
Sure.
I would have to maybe share with listeners around positivity and how they can get 1% better. Is there any specific, I guess, influencer or somebody that has inspired you over the years that has helped you be more positive, develop, grow?
Oh, yes. My mother is like the most positive person that you can imagine in your life. And she is super beautiful outside, like physically beautiful. And I used to ask, Mom, how can you be better looking than us, your kids? And she used to look to us and say, because I'm happy. The day that you learn to be happy, everybody will be able to look to you and tell that you're beautiful too. And this to us is like each other mother in just words, you just say that. And she's super beautiful. You have no idea, like she's super beautiful. And she used to look to me, I'm just happy. That's the secret. You didn't realize. And we're like, what, Mom? How do you explain that? And what I try to do on a daily basis is like, of course, I have problems. And people look to me, why are you always smiling? What's funny? Life is difficult. You have problems. You have a disabled child. You have problems here, have problems there. How you manage to smile? How can? And I say, it's easy. you pretend that the problems are not real. You know that the problems are there. You know that you need to sort them. You will do the best you can to sort them, but pretend in your brain, tell your brain that the problems are not real. And it's so funny because when you tell you like the problem is not real, your brain doesn't know if this is true or not.
Mm-hmm.
So make everything easier. Like, of course, the problem is still there. You need to sort, but you're telling yourself that's not real. And make it easier to sort. You find solutions. Your head is fresh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting way of thinking about it, and you are very much what you believe in lots of ways, and you can certainly make your mindset change. Is that the sort of work you do in the coaching with others as well? Do you use other type of approaches to help others?
Yes. I think every person is different. So of course I will get like I have a client that's super old school style, and if I say something like that, he will look to me, listen, you need to go, I need another coach because you're not serious at all.
Right.
And every person, you need to come for a different approach because every person is unique, every person is individual. But what I always try to do is bring the best of the people in themselves. So, for example, if I see that you believe in positivity and you can go for it, is what I will bring on you, is what I will push you to do. Make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But get them believing in it and pushing them that direction. Do you have any piece of advice that you've been given in the past that always sticks with you, that you like to share or that sticks out?
Yes, absolutely. I think the main advice, in particular when I will bring the main subject of this interview, that's the social media. You need to study your target. So you need to study what you want for a target. So for example, if you want a target that's 19 to 35, is it stupid from us go and start to go to the 45? Hey, do you want to be my friend? Hey, do you want my products? Because it's not your target. And to study deeply your target, your customers, the time that they are there. If you're not sure, if you don't have money to go for big companies to buy a research, go and try daily. For example, today you try to post things at 1:00 and see how it goes, see how many, because there you have the impressions, there you have the reports on your dashboard on Twitter, for example, so you can see how many people are looking, how many impressions did you have, how many people are passing for your messages. And the same on Facebook. But if you need to choose just one I would try all the social medias at once and try to be as much more multitask you can. Now you have free tools like Hootsuite, that's called, is Prots as well, that you can post in all of them at the same time. So you will start to feel each of the platforms have more people inside the target that you wanted to reach. Okay, so if you wanted to start with one platform, I would recommend Instagram because it's the one that's raising at the moment. Facebook is interesting as well because they have cheap booster posts. Twitter, unfortunately, is in a massive decadence at the moment and become like a platform of complaints. That's all, like the platform that people go there and say, listen, Tesco, I didn't receive my thing. Listen, Royal Mail, I didn't have that. So become a complaint platform, like we say.
And on Instagram, just as a matter of interest, it's one I've been trying to use a little bit as well, but probably haven't got as much traction on it as Twitter. It's made, I suppose, more for video and photographs, but pretty much everything you can put on Instagram, it can go on Twitter now. How do you find an approach to boost, I suppose, followings on Instagram?
On Instagram, picture, you can post only everything that, of course, you can make your text, but everything needs to have a picture or a video.
Yeah.
And the human being is very visual.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you're going to a brand, you need to take the pictures of your product. Then you use that space to speak about your product.
No, that's it.
It's very variable. For example, if the market that you're trying to work, I'm working with a company that work with trips. So what we're doing, we're working pictures of a different place. So every day we choose between 5 and 10 pictures and we across hours and hours choosing pictures between like thousands of pictures, the pictures that would call the most attention. So, for example, when we wanted to looking for, depends what you're looking for, you choose the colors that is going there. You choose what's in a picture that can call the attention of your target. So that's why I say the best tip that I can give is always study your target, because it's there that you have the answers of all your questions, from colors to pictures to shapes to everything, the time that you need to go and post.
Very good. And is there, you mentioned Hootsuite and other kind of tools, any other ones that people could use, especially or even around Instagram, to kind of do that market research or figure out what their targets are?
That's the Instagram is the difficult one, because you don't have much tools that you can.
Yeah.
But Facebook and Instagram, you have paid one, you have free ones. If you're looking for, even in Google, using Google or using Bing, you'll find, or even the people who knows that on Google and Bing, you just will see 5% of the internet. So you can use Tor project that you open a different platform using Safari. So you can use the GP Web without to use Google. It's not a GP Web like in a bad way,
right? But
you will be able to search largely, because Google, you only put you up on the hunt once you pay. Without you pay the ads, they will not put you up. So sometimes you don't appear not even in a page of number 100.
Yeah.
That's why if you're going for GP research as well, I would recommend Tor project.
Tor project, is it?
Yes. To go to Tor project, you have a link to you download. It's a safe download. You have the option for PC and Mac.
Okay.
I have many others, but because I'm Mac user, so it's more difficult to find tools. And this is one that works very good and safe. Very good. You have both versions, and you download, you open a page on Safari, and it's amazing. Of course, I use for the good reasons, but is a door open to bad reasons as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. So look, Paula, I know I've taken up more than your hour than we allotted. I appreciate you taking the time to tell me about your story. Certainly fascinating and very interesting in around the areas of social media. And I know you said that was the main topic that we wanted to talk about, but I think, Can I give you just a last tip? Yes, go for it.
The main thing, like I see many people do, and people will not take you seriously because you think, this person is using for different purposes, or doesn't even take the time to make it look professionally. So if you're trying different, like I said, if I would try just one, I would go to Instagram, or if I want to use I would use a marketing tool to post at the same time on every platform possible, from Pinterest to Instagram to everything else. But be sure that you will make exactly the same picture and the same bio on all of them, because these make the visitor take you seriously.
So having a consistent banner and picture across all your platforms.
Always the same picture and always the same bio, always the same header as well.
Okay, very good. And that just gives that consistent experience to who you are. I suppose everybody gets familiar with that same look and feel across all of them. No, that's
exactly.
That's brilliant.
And if it's possible, the same content as well.
The same content as well, yeah. And I suppose if you're pushing it out to one, using some of those tools, it can probably post it to all of them at the same time or schedule it.
Yes. I like to use the Hooch, but Sprout is very good as well, because the Hooch, you have the free version. If you're just starting, just wanted to feel how it is, just feel the vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have other good tools as well that will do the same thing, but I don't know, no other will have the free version.
True.
And please be sure that you're talking back with your followers, because when you're not talking back, like the last 3 months, I lost a massive number of followers because I don't have the time to be there.
Sure. Yeah.
And this make me sad because I love my platform. But this is super important. Be sure that you're talking, interacting with people. You're there giving tips, telling about your day. It doesn't matter what you have, if it's to talk to people, if it's small or big. Go there, make your presence.
Yeah. And you need to be active and authentic on it as well. and make sure that you're giving some value back to the people to follow you, I guess.
Of course. And retweet people is important as well. Like exists one theory, the theory of the 5. Did you heard that before?
No, give it out there.
The theory of the 5 is even when you don't have time, be sure that you have 5 ideas on the internet every day. 3 of them from other people. So you will retweet, you share, depending on the platform that you use. So 3 ideas shared or retweeted, or that you be from the other people. Or you put there a piece of the newspapers, a link of the YouTube, something cool. And the other 2, if you don't, one about your business subject and one about personal life.
Okay.
So there you for example, today I'm working out my arms. So a picture of your mate is on the gym, then the business one, look, I'm today here on the London Expo 2018.
Right.
This is the best kiosk here, And the other 3 ideas that you share, this is according to the gurus of media. This is the technique that work when you don't have time to be there full time.
Okay, no, that's good. I haven't heard that one before, so I'll definitely like that. And I did hear of one as well that seems to be true, is sometimes if I put a post up on one of the socials, you tend to get maybe, if you got 100 views, you might get 9 people that would like it and then 1 person that would comment. I think it's like a 99 and 1% the way it kind of splits up, because not everybody would engage. They might look at it but not comment or retweet. Is there any ways that you typically try and get more people to engage or to retweet, or simply asking them doesn't sometimes do it, I'd say?
I think when they call one per one, when you're talking with people and they're giving likes to other people, they will back to you to give likes. When you're following people, they will back to you to follow you.
Right.
Of course, it's not everybody that you follow, that you talk, that you're giving likes, will talk back to you.
Sure. Yeah.
But a good part will.
Sure. No, very good. Paz, look, we'll leave it there. I think that was a really interesting hour to talk through your story and lots of tips towards the end of the conversation. How can people get in touch with you, Paz, and how can they follow you, just in case anyone listening haven't done so yet?
Okay, the best way to find me is, I promise that from now on I will check every day my DMs. So you can use my Twitter, that's Paula Toots, and you can send me a DM and I will contact you back.
Okay, brilliant.
Thank you very much for having me, and I'm here for whatever you need to.
Brilliant. Paula, or Paz, thanks so much for sharing your story, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, darling. Have a great day too.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, how did you find it? A good show? Hopefully. Do take a second or two to let me know. And before you do dive off, just a couple of quick call-outs. The new podcast, the 864, 15 minutes long, in fact 864 seconds is the aspiration, is now out and ready for listening. Check it out on the site. Go to the podcast page. There's a link for 864 there, or go on to Apple Podcasts and subscribe. That would be awesome. The 864 is all you have to search for. And it's in all other podcast platforms that you can think of or should be. So, have a listen. Every week I release a 1 Minute Monday video clip, which is also a tip to hopefully make you 1% better. Check that out. It's on the website on the video page. Did you also know that only about 1% of listeners to podcasts, not just my own but all, leave a rating, leave a review, get in touch or give feedback? And I would love if we could buck that trend and put it to 2% for this one. So please do take the time to give me a bit of feedback, give me some ideas about future guests or whatever the hell comes into mind. Just get in touch or rate or review the podcast on Apple. That helps. I'm available at all of the social platforms, pretty much all, at Rob of the Green. That's either with or without the @ sign, but you'll find it under that moniker, so hopefully I'll hear from you there. Last couple of quick ones. Support. So I do offer some pro bono coaching. Get onto the website, the support page, to get in touch. Few hours a month, happy to do that. And if you would like to support the podcast, that would be awesome. You can do so through Patreon. and also through purchasing books through the book page on the website. That goes through Amazon and we get a little percentage. I'm not even sure what, but it's something. And finally, just to say thanks for taking the time to listen to the podcast. I know there's lots of other shows out there. It means a lot that you're checking this one out. So have a great rest of day, week, month, year, whatever it may be, and hopefully you're getting 1% better as a result of these shows. Take care and good luck.